I'm random pedestrians. I want my questions to be answered till my brain bored and questionless. I want more self-assurance. I don't ever want to second guess. I want so shut the fuck up! Less he trying to tell me yesterday. I want so much better.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, today's Friday, July the 30th. Holy crap, it's the last Friday of the month. The 30th of 2021. Let's see, day 211th of the year and only 154 days left to go. Oh my God, this is the end of the week, man. This is where we're at the moment, and this is where it's going to come to an end. Did all your work come to fruition this week would be the other, I guess, question to ask right away. Anyways, we're broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Coming across the multiverse of Safety FM, the traditional stuff that I would tell you. And then, of course, we're also hanging out with our friends, our partners, and our colleagues. Well, at that other place. Radio Big. Yeah, Radio Big, where we host the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. That is for sure. So a lot of stuff going on right away as we are talking and moving and grooving and all of that other fun stuff right away. So let's start talking. So if you're not familiar with what the hell goes on here, let's talk about it. So it goes something like this. You talk, I listen, you talk, or something. It all kind of goes around in this kind of real world of ours. So there you go. Already seeing some love inside of the box. So the way that it works is you can actually interact with us inside of the different boxes, depending on what social media platform you are on. We are a radio station that is also a streaming service. It's also a podcast. So there you go. Kind of some multiple things. On Fridays, it's kind of a free-form type of thing. So I really don't have a lot of an agenda when it comes to the show. We just kind of talk and sit around and do that stuff. The text messages will be open. If you just have a normal standard phone, you can do that at 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1. Or if you're in the chat box in the different multimedia social media services, you can jump in right on there. And, we can take a look at what you have to say and all that kind of fun stuff, because that always makes it exciting, where we get to interact with each other. So Fridays is no plan, no process. We just kind of go from there. So here you go. Let me tell you what is trending with the video on demand services for this weekend right away. High five in the box. Well, high five. There you go. Okay, so new to Disney Plus will be Garfield, if you're interested in watching that. New to Hulu will be The Resort. And new to Netflix is Central World, is what it seems like. The Last Mercenary and The Vault. So there you go. You have some options of some different things to take a view and all that kind of stuff. So are you into FPS or RPG? I'm into talking about some games from time to time, but we can get into that. I mean, I don't know. First-person shooters are kind of cool, but role-playing games are just kind of, I don't know if I would say they're my gig. I haven't played a role-playing game in quite some time, that's for sure. But thanks for the question. I do appreciate it. Good morning, Mr. Posel. I see you right there. So do we want to start getting into the news, or do we want to start doing something else? Because I have no platform, and I really have nothing going on the way that I'm looking at this today. So let's do Johnny Smalls with Motivation Minute, because I didn't do it yesterday. So let's do that right now.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Niles. Christian D. Larson said, "Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle." I love the quotes everyone's sending in lately. This is another great one. Thanks, Niles. The quote today is super true. Believe in yourself. I met a young man that was so unsure of himself that he was slipping backwards in his business. He let the pandemic and the chaos that followed convince him that he was a failure. Nope. He just needed a pep talk and to be reminded why he was doing this in the first place. Get back to believing in yourself. It's the very best first step towards success. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you very much for that one, good old Johnny Smiles. Always a good time taking a listen to what you have to offer inside of the box. Well, I'm going to chill and just watch. Okay, you can do this. I feel motivated. I'm glad that you already do. That's what John Smalls is the point of his whole thing. Let's get it started. What do you want to do today, I guess, is maybe the question I should start asking then. We can do the traditional and go through the world of the news, because I think that's always kind of interesting when we start bringing in the people from Feature Story News, talking about what is exactly going on. I'm going to tell you real quick, on today's Epi, we'll talk about all the stuff going on inside of the world of news, which I think is always important. So let's do Feature Story right now. We'll get that into the mix of things right away. And then once we get back from Feature Story, we'll kind of do some more shenanigans of whatever you want to do, because those are always important as well to do, opposed to just hanging out and looking at this mug if you're there. But if you're on the radio station, remember, hey, you can always hang out. What I always tend to forget is that if you want to carry the radio station with you, safetyfm.com, you can go there, download it, download the app that you can carry with you, everywhere. And we're also available as an Alexa skill. That thing that, that personal thing, you just say, hey, Alexa, play Safety FM. Or just download it as a skill starting off. Anyways, let's get you into Feature Story News, and we'll go from there and then get it moving and grooving.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. The United Nations Security Council has extended an arms embargo against the Central African Republic for 12 months, citing the government's failure to ensure the protection and control of its weapons. The Council adopted the resolution on Thursday, despite an appeal from China to lift it. Chris Ochamaringa has more from Kinshasa.
The UN Security Council adopted the resolution to extend the arms embargo in the Central African Republic by 14 votes. The resolution was introduced by France. France's UN ambassador said the spread of arms was fueling conflict in the Central African Republic. But China's deputy UN ambassador disagreed, saying the security situation in the country had improved since the last elections in December. He said the arms embargo had become an obstacle to the government's efforts to strengthen its security capabilities. Fighting between government troops and rebels has claimed thousands of lives in the Central African Republic since 2013.
10 Nigerian athletes have been banned from participating in the ongoing Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. They are among 8 others who have failed to undergo mandatory tests ahead of the global sports event. India has criticised Pakistan for holding elections in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Officials say Islamabad is trying to legitimise its illegal occupation by conducting polls. Ishan Garg reports.
India calls that area Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The border area of Kashmir Valley has been a major flashpoint in the two neighbors' relationship. But analysts say India is now more concerned as China's friendship grows with Pakistan. Officials here have criticized both nations for alleged illegal construction of roads and bridges. These are part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor plan that passes through Kashmir. India says Pakistan is hoping to assimilate Kashmir by holding elections there. But officials here do not recognize the results in which Prime Minister Imran Khan's party won a huge victory. They say conducting polls news does not hide Pakistan's illegal occupation or the human rights abuses it's perpetrating.
And with cases of the Delta COVID variant continuing to increase across Australia's biggest city, Sydney, police have warned anti-lockdown protesters not to attend a planned march in the city on Saturday. Sean Bindley reports from Brisbane.
Thousands of Australians attended last week's demonstrations in a number of cities, and another march is planned for Sydney on Saturday, with Premier Gladys Berejiklian pleading for Sydney-siders to stay at home. Police Commissioner Mick Fuller says protesters can expect to be met with a mobile force of 1,000 police officers.
The strike force from last week's protest has locked up over 60 individuals and issued over 200 infringements, and that will continue. So if you turn up, you can expect the same sense of force.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Israel has announced a new COVID-19 vaccine booster campaign in a bid to slow the spread of the Delta variant. Beginning this weekend, adults over the age of 60 who received their second dose of COVID-19 vaccine at least 5 months ago will now be eligible for a third jab. With 60% of the public fully vaccinated, Israel has been at the forefront of research into the efficacy of the vaccines. And Professor Daniel Shepselovich, the chief of the COVID department at the Tel Aviv Medical Center, says this time will be no different.
It is true that there is some dilemma here. We know that following 2 doses, people are more vulnerable to this new variant than to the original virus. And we know that the levels of the antibodies wane with time, and we know that a third dose will boost antibody levels. It is true that we don't have data to prove that this will be useful. However, there is a lot of evidence pointing that it might help. And right now we are seeing, as you've mentioned, more and more people, vaccinated people who are sick and need hospitalization.
2 weeks ago, 60% of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in Israel were fully vaccinated. A statistic further demonstrating the infectiousness of the Delta variant that fueled the decision to go ahead with the booster shot. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, the United Nations Security Council has extended an arms embargo against the Central African Republic for 12 months. 10 Nigerian athletes have been banned from participating in the ongoing Olympics in Tokyo. India has criticised Pakistan for holding elections in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, and police in Sydney have warned anti-lockdown protesters not to attend a planned march in the city on Saturday. That's the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show.
Forecast, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma,
Georgia, and South Carolina.
For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Summer barbecues. In 96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in 09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. but he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, I don't know what exactly you're listening to. You're definitely listening to something. Wow, I'm losing my voice already. So. A lot of movement again today in the box. I'm liking it. I'm liking it for sure. Thanks for all the love and the random questions that are coming about for sure. So let's take a look at some of these because I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. Hi, how is everyone? ¿Dónde están las mujeres? Yeah, the good question there. Where did the dot go? Oh, so that's what happens. You know, we are radio. We keep that in mind as well. So we kind of do multiple things that are going on. I'm not ready yet. Does this mean that you weren't ready about the vaccine? How long is the news? Okay. Shenanigans. Well, I mean, let me just kind of tell you. I guess how it works if you're new to this. It goes like this. We do the news from them. It lasts between 3 to 5 minutes depending on the day. And then we kind of do some of our other stuff that's going on, but we try to make sure that everything's kind of moving and grooving as we are talking. And that's not counting my side of the news that we'll be starting here in the next little bit, unless you tell me something entirely different that's going on. So it looks like a lot of Twitch stuff going on this morning. I'm not seeing the love in some of the other social media platforms, but it's okay. It's okay. I still love the interaction regardless of where you're at. But as we have said since day numero uno, even though it did take a long time to get here, we are definitely always trying to interact regardless of wherever the hell you are at. So there you go. Anyway, so let's start talking about what's on the hit list because that's going to be one of the main reasons why you might be here to hang out. Border Patrol agents at Rio Grande Valley sector arrested more than 800 migrants within a 24-hour period this week. That is what they said. The single largest group apprehended thus far this year. Many of those were unaccompanied children who were in poor health. They were checked out by paramedics and then sent to local hospitals if needed. Chief Patrol Agent Brian Hastings said that they are doing everything that they can to get the border, but it's chaotic. Cool, you're on. Oh, thank you. That was nice. So it has been chaotic. I mean, it's an interesting one for sure, as everything is going on around and about. 800 migrants. That's a number. Aftershocks. Hold on. A powerful earthquake shook Alaska's southern coast on Wednesday night, causing locals to scramble to shelter. Aftershocks of the tsunami warnings continued until Thursday. The U.S. Geological Survey said that the quake was a magnitude 8.2, which is crazy. Residents reported only minor damages. I mean, at an 8.2, that's good that it was only minor damages on what was going on. Animal life has existed in Earth's ocean millions of years. Hold on. Animal life may have existed in Earth's ocean millions of years before previously thought. Recently discovered fossils belonging to ancient sponges are now believed to be the earliest known remnants of an animal body, predate other sponge fossils by 350 million years, according to a new research published by the Journal of Nature. Research researcher Elizabeth Turner, a professor of paleontology at the Lutheran University in Ontario, has discovered the fossils and said that they're known for the earliest days of animal life, and they find help in the gap and provide better glimpse of the Earth's earlier marine life. What's cracking? I don't know. What is cracking inside of your world over there? I guess I should start announcing names when I just start randomly saying stuff, because here's the weird thing. If you're on the radio station or the podcast and you just hear me just saying some random stuff and have no clue where it's coming from, it might be weird. Okay, so explain this to me, because this is 2 days in a row with that same comment. Get the hype started. Get the hype started. So if someone could give me a better explanation on what this means, I would surely appreciate it. Anyways, to continue talking, let me bring in Johnny Smalls one more time, because let's have him talk about some stocks real quick, because that's going to always be importante.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, July 30th, 2021. The markets continued the glass half full narrative that continues to lift equities. All the major indices finished the day in positive territory. The best news came from the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, which surged to new all-time highs. This was despite the GDP report that showed the U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 6.5%, below the 8.5% that analysts had forecast. However, for now, investors are putting more weight on robust consumer spending and business investments, and a little less emphasis on the decrease in inventories, which point to continued weakness in the global supply chain. In other news, Amazon missed on revenues and saw its stock drop 5% in after-hours trading. Investors will look to see if there's an Amazon effect when markets open Friday. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, because that's always interesting, taking a listen to what is going on inside of the world of the stocks market. So let me tell you what I found on my end over here. Stocks rose on Thursdays as investors shook off signs of economic growth is stalling. The Dow soared 153 points, while the Nasdaq lifted 15 points, and the S&P rose about 18 points. Data was released during the session showing that both GDP growth in Q2 as well as jobless claims for the last week failed to meet expectations. Consumer spending was a bright spot in the report for the second quarter. Robinhood began trading on the Nasdaq. Shares slipped in their debut to close below $35 a share after the initial price was $38. So there you go. It came at a loss when you were starting to think about it and all that kind of fun stuff. So there you go. Anyways, to continue talking about some other things, this is always important. An angler in Maryland reeled in a record-breaking swordfish. Peter Schultz of Annapolis caught the massive 301-pound fish while participating in the Big Fish Classic tournament in Ocean City. It took him and his team about 8 hours to reel it in, according to Maryland DNR. Schultz is the first record holder for swordfish in the Atlantic Division. So there you go. If that's important to you, you have some information.
With streams so crisp that you can feel the sarcasm in your ear holes. Radio Big.
Okay, so let's talk about the Olympics, because that seems to be the popular topic going on right now. So let's give you the countdown of the top 3 medalist holders currently. United States now is ranked at number 3, 14 gold medals, 14 silver medals, and 10 bronze. Japan's at number 2 with 15 gold medals, 4 silver, and 6 bronze. And China is at 15 gold medals, 7 silver, and 9 bronze. Team USA got a boost in the medal department with gold medals earned by Caleb Dressel in the men's 100-meter freestyle, Robert Fink in the men's 800-meter freestyle, and Cynthia Lee in the women's gymnastic all-around. Dressel set the new Olympic record for the 100-meter freestyle with his time of 47.02 seconds. Meanwhile, Lee, who was silver medal favorite, took home the first Olympic gold in gymnastics ever. Hey, I'm from Brazil. How are you? How are you doing in Brazil? What the hell time is it, by the way, too? That'd be the other thing. I always kind of get worried when people are here like super ass early, or maybe you just haven't went to bed, which that's another cool side of the equation when we start thinking about it. Let's see, what's the name there? Rude Boy, well, with a tude. I like it. I like the name. Okay, let's continue talking. Shark sightings have forced state officials to close some of New York beaches. One county supervisor explained that the decision was made due to the presence of 2 black-tipped sharks that were spotted swimming just off the shore this week. The creatures are not native to the area, and officials believe that they are likely to follow a food source that was pushed north by recent hurricanes. The supervisor said that it's unlikely the duo are the only ones out there. Drones have been sent out to monitor the situation. Well, that sure as shit does not a surprise that you want to actually take a step into there. Take an imagination portion there that you step out and you find out right away that there's something going on inside of the water there for sure. What do you mean 2 wrongs don't make a right? And still, okay, hold on. And said, tell dog. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I don't think that it's the wrong thing for people to tell you to not go out there. Just an idea. Just throwing that out there, but I appreciate the comment. Let's continue. I think that I get so distracted by the comments. It's hilarious. Okay, so let's continue talking real quick. We are going to try to reopen schools, said the American Federation of Teachers President Randy Wettengarten yesterday. This is the stark contrast to the comments that she made beginning of the summer, which was, we can and we must reopen schools in the fall for in-person teaching, learning, and support, and we must keep them open fully and safely 5 days a week. Her change of heart on the heels of the CDC's new guidance that everyone should mask up and those in K through 12 should return to school wearing masks. So let's ask the weird question. What's the science this is based on? Also, what about the many studies that have come out and doctors have spoken to the mental and emotional toll and the lack of interaction is having on children, not to mention the physical toll on remote learning. So what do you think here? Because that becomes a very interesting conversation because, as you know, or you may not know, even though we do talk about it quite frequently, is that the suicide rates are going up. So do you look at this for a moment and then you say, okay, suicide rates are higher, so we need to move forward with this? Or do you kind of go, infection rate is more important than that? So I'm just asking because that's going to be the other portion to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to think about here. Because here's the thing. And we're going to have to talk about this because this is going to be a reality of what's going on. I mean, we talked about this about a year ago, that we are definitely going to see more strains of this. So this is the strain that's popular now. I think that, yes, this is a thought. I have no science to back this up. This is me thinking here. That's why you're here. I mean, I think that what's going to end up happening is going to be very similar to the flu, where you get different strands of it. And it'll be an ongoing thing all the time. So that will have to be part of the conversation as we go forward. And it'll be interesting to see what else happens. Anyways, let's continue talking. New unemployment claims dropped last week to 400,000. The week prior was 424,000 were filed. So there you go. Economists expected exactly 380,000 last week. So that didn't happen. Claims had fallen substantially from the peak of 2020 of about 6.1 million. In 2019, the nation average was just over 200,000 new claimants per week. So there you go. How's it going? I don't know. Trendy. Hold on. Trendy Amandy. It's going. Thanks for asking. Mask sales are on boom again. So here you go. Face coverings had started to disappear from store shelves until the CDC's latest rounds of guidelines that everyone, including those who are vaccinated, should return to mask wearing. So if the vaccine works, what's the point of wearing a mask? See, here's where I get confused, because this is a question that came up from one of the writers. It says, if the vaccine works, what's the point of wearing the mask? Then he asked, if you're a vaccinated American, you still spread the Delta variant, then why get vaccinated? If someone is vaccinated and therefore protected against the virus, then why should they care if others are also infective? Then he goes as far as saying, what more if the test used to determine if someone has COVID can't tell the difference between COVID-19 and the flu, the common cold, how can they differentiate between the variants? Lastly, if the Delta really a COVID-19 variant, or could it be a new strand of the flu? Maybe people are getting sick because of last year and a half people were forced to stay home, avoid others. I mean, as you can see, the guy's very emotional in talking about this. But here's my question. I'm going to ask this question, and I've been debating about should we talk about this, but let's talk about it for a moment, because a lot of people try to make this a political issue. Okay. And I want you to give some thought here. Okay. Just hang with me as I'm going through this. Operation Warp Speed came out when? Just think about it for a moment. Operation Warp Speed came out when? So it came out at a time that there was a different party in the White House. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's incorrect. And during that time frame, President Donald Trump said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're pushing to get the vaccine out. As you are aware, there are some prominent Republicans that have already went out there and gotten the vaccine. Donald Trump included. Ted Cruz included. So there's some things to think about on how is this a political issue? Because is it a political issue or is it a knowledge issue? Because you can't say that the Democrats are pushing it, and you can't turn around and say that the Republicans aren't pushing it. There has to be a conversation here on where this is coming about. So I'm kind of glad, that we went into this for a moment, as our lovely writer has lost his cookies in regard to this. But this is something to think about. Are you associating the vaccine conversation with a political rant? I know this is a Rated R Safety Show, but it also is Freeform Friday. So we have to get into this. We have to talk about this a little bit. So what do you think is going on? Because when you hear a lot of this of the government wants you to have this, the government wants you to go ahead and move forward with this, do we remember where it came from? I mean, I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question. And I know we can go off on tirades about the whole thing. So here's the thing that we're going to go through again. And I talk about this ever so frequently, so I apologize if you've heard this before. I kind of apologize. You have to make the determination on what's best for you. You have to determine if a vaccine that's on emergency release is a good fit for what you have going on. Okay? Because here's the gig. What ends up taking place is the following. If you see a medical practitioner that you normally see, they would tell you if it is a benefit for you or not. They're going to understand what's going on with you better than anybody else because of the period of time that you've been interacting with them. You can't sit around and just take information from the general public and say that that's a good decision. I would think that whoever your family practitioner has been for X amount of time will definitely know better on what's going on with you. You have to make that determination for yourself. I think that's the simplest way to put it. I mean, and I know that it's difficult for some people where we start having this conversation, and I know that this conversation can go much further and much longer in regards to talking about it. Because it's one of these things that when we talk about it, depending on what country you're in, it becomes a very emotional thing. I mean, the only other thing that I can compare this to, and like I say, I don't like to talk about politics, but I just want to give you the example, is when we mention the name Donald Trump. There is a reaction that occurs, positive or negative, just depending on who you're talking to. the same way that things happen when you start talking to people about behavior-based safety or human and organizational performance. It's kind of interesting on how they interact automatically. But for some reason, the COVID topic and the topic of Donald Trump really blows some people out of the gasket. And hey, listen, I'm not trying to change the show up today. I'm just trying to be honest here. I mean, I try to be honest all the time. I am honest all the time. But we have to be realistic on what's going on. So I think that when it comes to this subject matter, as we are talking about it here, you need to make the determination on what's going to be best suited for you based on a medical professional that you already have an established relationship with. That would be my suggestion. If you and I were hanging out like we are, and we were having this conversation about what do you think I should do because you have not been vaccinated, that's what I would tell you. I don't know. I do research for the things that I do research for, and I can tell you what I found and I thought, but that's my opinion. I don't know your medical stuff, so it's a very difficult question for me to be able to answer. And I think that once again, it's a personal decision, and it cannot be based that I can only do this because I'm a Democrat, I can only do this because I'm a Republican, because when you start thinking about the whole concept here, you have to think about it from the very beginning. Operation Warp Speed, the Republican Party was inside of the White House at the time, and prominent Republicans already have this actually going on. And believe me, let's get off of this whole thing that's related to the whole concept of politics, because I hate talking about it. So there you go. So anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more. Matter of fact, we'll continue talking a little bit more right after this. I got some cool things on the other side. If you hang out, you'll take a look and take a listen.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face. And posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
See what you want, baby, but I might be just a little more than I can give you.
I want a cushy job that pay big bills and cheap thrills. Wanna mob out with my homies like Timmy, Tommy, and Dill. I'm not trying to be famous, okay, maybe a little. Since I'm a rapper, I should buy me some grills and gold frills that I can sleep on while I contemplate pills. And peep on, hold still. Might sedate you, just a fire at will. I got an appetite for hardship, big fish meets krill. Don't sleep, don't spill, I ain't got my fill. I want the beauty queen to make me show my pretty.
Okay, that's Castle.
To make you count your blessings twice. It's not the only thing that's on my list.
With let's see, Crib Baby and Connie.
The Santa's elves like I've been playing nice.
That song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Before I forget going too far, anyways, thanks to Cry Baby and Connie for allowing us to play this on the Rated R Safety Show. I want to make sure I talk about this before I forget. So this morning, if you're not familiar, just giving you some FYI, the new Billie Eilish album came out. So it dropped about 3 o'clock in the morning. So there you go. It came out about 3 a.m. I have already listened to it about 3 times since it came out. I want to say about 3 times, went back to certain songs, taking a listen to it. I will tell you, different than the original, than the first album, that's for sure. Just kind of mentioning this for the sake of mentioning it. And also the other portion about the album, which I thought was very interesting, that it's very jazzy. It's very jazzy when it comes to certain things on the album. So you should take a listen and figure out what exactly you like about it, what you do, what you don't. She says it's very personal. Do you ever get mad? Yeah, I get mad all the time. Especially on this show. Anyways, let's talk about some movies that are coming out if you're interested in doing some stuff over the weekend. So let's talk about this real quick. So here you go. Jungle Cruise is coming out today, PG-13, based on the Disneyland theme park ride. A doctor enlists the aid of a wisecracking skipper to take her down the Amazon in a ramble shack boat. Together, they search for an ancient tree that holds the power to heal and change the future of medicine. Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt on that one. Another movie coming out today, Stillwater. A father travels from Oklahoma to France to help the estranged daughter who is in prison for a murder that she claims she didn't commit. Matt Damon is in that movie. The Green Knight, yeah, you heard me correctly. The story of Sir Gawain King Arthur's reckless and headstrong nephew who embarks on the daring quest to confront the Green Knight, a gigantic emerald-skinned stranger and tester of men. So there you go. There's some movies that if you're interested in finding out what is going on. Anyways, Olympic organizers are asking athletes not to bite their medals. The habit is common sight among hardware winners in the Olympic event. Comes with an interesting twist of time. All medals are made of recycled cell phones. And the fact that Tokyo organizers committed jokingly to warn athletes on Twitter, our medals are not edible. They are made of material recycled from electronic devices donated by the Japanese public. So don't have to bite them. But we know that you still will. That followed by smiley face with a tongue emoji. So we're guessing that no one is in danger of ingesting toxic chemicals and the way that they dare to bite down on the gold, silver, and bronze medals. About 6.21 million used phones make this year's approximately 5,000 medals. You can add own Olympic reception line here, so just in case. So they decided to make the medals out of one of the items that they always reported to have more germs than a toilet seat. So think about that as they are taking a bite down on this, which leads me to believe that it's possible that I could make my own. So there you go. So if you can make it out of recycled phones, it's good to know for sure what's going on. So anyways, hello, Hermes. How are you? So let's continue talking about some other things going on. Let's talk about some news of the weird real quick. 14-year-old boy shocked police when he accused his father of illegal child labor because he had been forced to do chores around the house. A parent in Mashatan who was sick of seeing his son with his eyes glued to a smartphone and ignoring his studies asked him to put down the device and do some housework. The angry teen snuck out of the house and went to the police station accusing his father of illegal child labor. An officer accompanied the boy home, and when he was flabbergasted, parents explained the things. The cop advised him to discipline this boy, suggesting to take his smartphone away. The boy's response is, "Do you really think that I only have a mobile phone? That's so naive of you." So there you go. Besides the kick is that he's also a smartass, so it's good to hear. Let's continue. Should we continue with that one? I'm sure the kid's smart, but he asked a lot about that's the right to remain silent. I would have kept my mouth shut, so there you go. A California restaurant is notorious for disregarding COVID protocols and requiring patrons to prove, we talked about this already, that they haven't been vaccinated. A recent Instagram post by Basilio Pasta e Vino in Pasadena said, from day one, never complied, banner mask, and now requiring proof of being unvaccinated. It's actually tongue-in-cheek jab at the lockdown tyrants who are requiring people to provide evidence that they have received the shot, according to restaurant owner Tony Roman, who wrote it in an email to the LA Times. We choose to fire another missile in defiance to further make our point in defense of American liberty and freedom. How does it provide proof of unvaccination? A ventilator. I guess that would be the only way to do it. I guess in a twist of things, talking about one side of the equation, let's talk about the other as well. Shake Shack, yeah, familiar with that restaurant, announced yesterday that starting September the 7th, they will be requiring people to prove that they have been vaccinated to be able to go into their restaurants. I'm not sure if that's subject to change. Starting September the 7th. So if you are a Shake Shack fan, some things will be changing that general direction. Also, the president, Joe Biden, yesterday made reference that federal workers will be required to be taking tests to show that they do not have COVID if they choose not to be vaccinated. So that's some other things going on and about. So what do you think about this as you're seeing this? I mean, I will tell you, we talked about this a while ago, when there was people already requesting that you prove that you were vaccinated in private workplaces. And that was part of the requirement. We have also heard about some health workers being required to do so as well. So what are you thinking when you hear this? What's coming to mind right away? So that's some other stuff right away to think about. Anyways, let's talk about, did you know a new study says that cycling rather than running or walking is more likely to help you live longer? Researchers from Denmark tracked about 7,500 adults with diabetes over the course of 15 years, and the subjects of cycles had little as 1 hour each week. Cycling was associated with a 24% lower mortality rate than those who did not cycle or attempt any other forms of physical activity. For 15 years, you didn't do any form of physical activity? What the hell? The researchers point out that it is important to share this evidence for large health benefits of cycling, which they say is likely also applies to persons without diabetes. No way that some bikers ride around here. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, if you've been in the area where I live in, or even in the area where the studio's at, you will definitely know that that they're not committed to being the safest people on the world. Let's continue talking real quick about some other things, because that's always important to do so as we are hanging out on this lovely Friday. So let's continue talking. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $166 million jackpot, or $120.4 million cash payout. No winner for Wednesday night's Powerball drawing. Saturday's drawing will be for $199 million jackpot, or $144 million cash payout. So there you go. Some things to think about if you are interested in that. Anyways, Disney Plus announced yesterday that there is a Hawkeye series that will debut on November 24th. The series will star Jeremy Renner as the superhero. So in case you're in the look for that. Also, let's talk about some albums that are being released. We talked already about the Billie Eilish Happier Than Ever coming out today. Also, Alan Vega with Alan Vega After Dark, Duran Jones Indications called Private Space, Leela James, See Me, Los Lobos Native Son, Lump Animal, Torres Thirster, and Yola Stand For Yourself. So there you go. What else? Bruce Springsteen does not want a New Jersey truck to be named after him. Stars like Bon Jovi, Whitney Houston, James Gandolfini, and 6 others will be honored with having the rest stop along the New Jersey Turnpike after the named of courtesy of the NJ Hall of Fame. The boss, however, will not be among the honorees after declining the offer. So there you go. Talking about Disney Plus real quick, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney, claiming that the studio breached her contract by releasing her Marvel flick Black Widow simultaneously in theaters and on Disney Plus. The actress filed a lawsuit on Los Angeles Superior Court, taking aim at the so-called streaming wars when movies are released on the same day of the date of the release of the theater on streaming platforms. While the film earned about $80.3 million at the box office, Johansson feels that the money left on the table by leaving the film open to piracy via streaming site. Disney has not commented on the suit as of yet. So there you go. Anyways, we'll talk about some more of that stuff if you come over to the to Radio Big here in the next few moments. Lots of people ugly in the world. Are you saying that because of the lawsuit? That's interesting. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date real quick. Back in 2020, NASA launches the Perseverance rover, an integrity helicopter, to Mars. The rover's mission is to search for new signs of ancient life. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays today. Phineas. Yeah, producer and singer for Billie Eilish's older brother, collaborator, turns 24 today. Also the release of the album. So there you go. Let's see. I don't know what that means. Can I get a mod? I don't know what that means. Gina Rodriguez, 37. Yvonne Straczynski, or let's just call her who she is. Hannah McKay turns 39 today. Hope Solo turns 40. Hilary Swank turns 47. Tom Green turns 50. Christopher Nolan turns 51. Terry Crews turns 53. Vivica A. Fox turns 57. Lisa Kudrow, 58. Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix turns 60. Anita Hill, 64. Delta Burke, 65. Frank Stallone, 71. Jenna Renner, 73. Arnold Schwarzenegger turns 73. Paul Anka turns 80. And Bug Selig turns 87 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays going on for you if you care to hear about some of those things. Always important as we're talking. I almost feel like we're going over again today. just to give you the fair warning. Let me bring in mi amigo real quick to let him talk real quick.
Nobody's life's easy, and sometimes life presents us with mountains that seem too high to climb. But that's when I dig in. When push comes to shove, it comes down to your will to win. I'm a trial lawyer, and a trial's a heavyweight championship fight. Figer Law won't back down, we won't give up, and we never give in. Ever.
Okay, that's Figer Law. For more information,
Welcome back to Movie Recap.
Go to FigerLaw.com for more information. Always important to see what the hell Jeffrey Figer has going on, or you can call 1-800-A-WINNER, 1-800-A-WINNER for more information there for sure. Anyways, let's talk about some other things real quick. Let's talk about some whack facts. The frequency of twin birth has doubled since 1980. You have to eat 11 pounds of potatoes to gain 1 pound of weight, but the butter will get you. The left drumstick of a chicken is more tender than the right one. In China, North American football is known as olive ball. Polo players are not allowed to play left-handed because it's too dangerous. Due to the gravitational effects, your weight is slightly less when the moon is directly over your head. So there you go. Some things that you probably did not know. Anyways, if you need some random information for today, here you go. NBC lost millions of dollars on Olympic coverage as ratings plummet. I'm shocked. I expected savvier business decisions from a network that just renewed Kenan for a second season. Did you catch the Olympic action this week? I watched about 47 seconds of beach volleyball. Then I had a cigarette and fell asleep. ABC says that an all-star cast of Dancing with the Stars won't be released until late August, and that My Friend is what I call a double oxymoron. Arnold Schwarzenegger is 74 today. He didn't plan anything big, just a quiet dinner with his families. Former U.S. women's soccer goalie Hope Solo is 40 today. She's probably going out drinking tonight, so watch for her tomorrow on TMZ. Do you allow politics in the chat? Well, I think I do, because we were talking about them a few moments ago. So you're more than welcome on talking about some of that. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about some other stuff real quick. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. So there you go. I want that outfit, bro. You want my 2004 Old Navy shirt? Jeez, I don't know about that. And I will tell you, this is a real shirt. I've had this sucker since 2004. Anyways, for more information of my friends of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. By the way, that's a comment that came in. I just want to make sure that I'm just not randomly, people think I'm randomly just saying stuff. For more information about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, you go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org. Or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or text the word TALK to 741-741. So it's Friday. Do we do the 30 seconds? I think we should, because if not, I'm not going to be able to pull it off. So let's do this. If you're new to the show and not familiar to what we do on Fridays. On Fridays, I'll show you a clock that shows that it's a 30-second countdown. The reason for the 30-second countdown, because as you're going into the weekend, you know how sometimes you're aggravated as you're going into things and all that kind of fun stuff. Well, we want to make sure that you get all that out and about and scream and shout before you go into the weekend. This way you can live a little bit happier ever after. So I'll show it on the screen. I'll let you know via countdown, and when the 30 seconds are up, I'll let you know. So let's start that clock in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and so that's time. That is 30 seconds. So hopefully you were able to get everything out and about, and you are extremely happy of whatever the hell is going on inside of your neck of the woods. Okay, so there you go. There you go. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, I guess we can talk about some of those before we get you out of here. National Cheesecake Day, National Father-in-Law Day, National Whistleblower Day, National Talking in the Elevator Day, National System Administration Appreciation Day, Get Gnarly Day, and International Day of Friendship. So there you go. Some different things to talk about for sure. Let me give you some other stuff real quick. By the way, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively if you want to come and hang out. So here you go. Random joke for today if you need one. I'm actually not funny. I'm just mean and people think I'm joking. That's not a joke. That's true. That's very true. If you need a phone starter, try this one. Imagine a day, the best day ever. What kind of things would you do? Something tells me that Taco Lou would be involved with that. Not a joke. If I need something for the water cooler, we'd start off like this. Here's a question. You probably deny it, but on average, you do this 32 times a year. What is it? Break the law. So there you go. Anyway, so just for information purposes, I'll talk about it right now. Next week, we will not be here. We are going to be taking a summer vacay. We got the riders going off, so I won't be here. We might run some reruns, just for information purposes, just so you know. We'll talk about that between the radio station and the streaming service. So I'll be back definitely for sure the week after. I just wanted to make sure that you knew before we got the hell out of here. So there you go. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. There is never a better measure of what a person is than what he does when he's absolutely free to choose. Think about that. Anyways, thank you for hanging out on the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and on SafetyFM.com. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We definitely could not do what we do without you, the most important part of both stations and the streaming service, the viewer and the streamer and the listener. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. See you in a week. Unless you come over here in the next few minutes to RadioBig.fm. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.